Hello everyone, welcome to my online prep. Today we'll start with part 3 of chapter 2, Organizational Behavior. In today's session, we'll be learning about the quality initiatives in organization, under which we have total quality management, business process restructuring, and the ISO facts. Then we'll be studying about quality circle and its various implications. Also, Six Sigma as a model for improving in the business processes. So let us start with the first topic of today's session. The first topic is quality initiatives in organizations. So, what are quality initiatives? What are its importance? These are actually the planned and systematic efforts that every organization takes to improve and maintain the good quality of its products. Basically, to enhance its overall performance, the organizations have to continuously manage, change, and adapt to the upcoming, present, as well as future needs. That is known as the quality initiatives. Any organization that has once reached a particular level, they want to sustain it or even improve it. Thus, they need these initiatives in the organization. Under this, one important initiatives that is taken by the organizations are the total quality management. So total quality management, that is in short referred to as TQM, it is both a philosophy and a set of guiding principles. They represent the foundation of a continuously improving organization. So we said that every organization wants to continuously enhance their overall performance. For that, they would need certain quantitative measures, as well as their human resources have to be enhanced, more training has to be provided so that the processes within the organization, and also they need to satisfy the customer needs for the present as well as the future. So it indicates the particular techniques that the organizations use and the existing improvement efforts that they are taking, as well as the tools. So implementation of these tools in a systematic manner for the quality improvement is known as the total quality management. There are certain principles or pillars that make up the TQM process. It is a committed and involved management to provide long-term, top-to-bottom organizational support. So it provides organization support, and it is committed, involved, that is continuously for a long time. Also top to bottom, from the top executives to the staffs. And the unwavering focus is on the customer to improve the customer satisfaction both internally as well as externally. The internal customer are the staff, and the external customers are those that avail the products and services of the organization. Here, effective involvement and utilization of teamwork is there. Each and every individual in the organization has to contribute towards the improvement, and with this we see continuous improvement in business and production. Now benchmarking, we studied in the previous part what is benchmarking. It is setting standards for better performance. We always want to reach higher to the standards that are set. Treating the suppliers as the business colleagues, they should be treated as the partners. To establish performance measures for the processes, and finally involvement of employees in decision making. So these are some of the steps or pillars that guide the total quality management. Another term that is used is known as the quality costs. These costs are those that are associated with non-achievement of the product or service quality. If we are trying but still not able to achieve a particular quality or standard that is set, then it is referred to as the quality cost. You should remember this definition. Quality cost is the costs that are associated with no achievement of product or service quality as per the requirements of the organization and its contracts with the customers and society. So these costs will occur if we are not able to achieve the particular quality. So this is total quality management. Now let us see how it can be implemented. There are various systems in any organization. There are the human services, that is regarding how the clients are provided the services. Also the organizations culture is an important factor, and finally the organization's political system is also there. Basically, total quality management acts as a large scale system change, and it results in the change in an organization's technology as well as its way of doing work. That is, TQM affects all of the factors in the organizations. All of these dimensions, they are aligned in a manner that the total quality management can have an effect on these dimensions simultaneously. Many theorists have said that TQM results in a radical change in the culture and the way of working in the organization. Radical means huge. A complete change can occur because of total quality management. If it is successful, we will see that this change would be positive. Otherwise, they can also have negative impact on the working of the organization. Now, to create a positive impact, it is important. The fundamental factor is leadership, including the philosophy, style, and behavior of the leader. The manager, if they're serious about embarking on a culture change, such as the total quality management, then only then they should be involved in the personal program of leadership development, and it is actually a prerequisite for effective functioning as an internal change agent. So the leaders or the managers, they should have a positive view of the total quality management. Only then this implementation process would be possible. There are other key considerations also with the alignment among the various organizational systems, such as the human resources system, how the human resource system is there, including the job design, the selection process, compensation, as well as training and development. Basically, how do they align with the total quality management culture? Then the information systems, they have to be redesigned to measure and track the new areas such as the service quality. Then the organizational structure and design will also affect. So these are some of the areas, or these are some of the facts that tell us that it can bring a large scale system change. Total quality management, another consideration is that it should evolve from the organization's strategic plan and based on the stakeholders expectation. Moreover, it should be purpose oriented. There should be a need for which it is being implemented. Also, here TQM is the purpose based on environmental conditions as well. Basically, it is introduced, if it is introduced without consideration of the real organizational needs and conditions, it may lead to more confusion on the part of both the managers as well as workers. Thus, it should be purpose oriented. The workers, managers, each and every dimension, they should know why the TQM is being implemented. Only then it will work. So there are certain expectations of people as well as their perceptions about the total quality management initiatives. So we have already mentioned that people should have a positive view of the TQM. They should know that it is purpose oriented to improve the quality of the organization. But some employees may see TQM as a fad. Fad means something that is short lived, a craze that comes and then it leaves as suddenly. Remembering the past fads such as the quality circles, management by objectives, and zero based budgeting, these were conducted in the past and these were short lived. They did not create any purpose or were not very successful for the organization. Therefore, TQM must be related to the key organizational problems. It should be purpose oriented. The needs and outcomes should be covered. Another scenario could be that the workers may see that the management is only concerned about the product. They are only concerned about improving the product quantity and quality, not about the staff needs. If this is a concern, then the staff may not see quality as a needing attention. They may believe that their services are already excellent or the quality is a peripheral concern in these days of cutbacks and multi-problem clients. Basically, they think that the managers are trying to create layoffs in the face of total quality management. So, if they do not see as a good tool for improvement of themselves, then they would not be inclined towards implementing it. This is because partly of the heavy service demands and of the professional training of human service workers that places heavy value on direct service with the clients. This can also be a reason that there is a lack of interest on the part of many line workers in efficiency or even effectiveness and outcomes. So, for TQM to work, the employees must see a need. This need could be for improved quality from their perspective and how the TQM may help in improving or satisfying the need. Fortunately, there are certain win-win situations to prevent or any kind of negative perceptions of the employees. So it should be focused on the quality, particularly a concern that is both for the managers as well as the workers. So it will be a win-win condition for the managers and the workers. They should make more human resources available for the core activities, specifically for the client service. This would create a positive perception and the staff would be readily accepting the total quality management initiatives. Now let us see some of the sources of resistance that can occur in the organization. Foremost, the historical workers' antipathy. Antipathy means they have an aversion, they do not like the use of statistics and data in the human services that may carry over into the views of total quality management. Now, if they are conducting feedbacks or surveys, then sometimes the customers or the workers would be fine. But in the case of statistics, they would be some aversion from their side. At another level, the management resistance to employee empowerment is also likely. They may see that decision making in the zero sum terms, like was in the zero based budgeting. They would want the employees have more involvement in the decision making. If it is there, then the management will have less. The management feels that if employee have more part in the decision making, it will reduce their power. In fact, one principal involvement in that each level will be more empowered and the managers will lose none of their fundamental authority. They should try to understand this. Another source of resistance could be segmentalism, that is, each unit or program sees itself as separate and unique with nothing to learn from others and do not need to collaborate with them. They may feel that the change that is occurring is only in one dimension and they do not want to cooperate with that dimension. So this shows the not invented here syndrome. That is, those who are not involved in the initial development of the idea feel no ownership for it. Another could be the employee resistance to industry examples that are used in the TQM terms like inventory or order backlog. They are not willing to implement these changes. They are not willing to accept any kind of new invention that is there in the industry examples. So these are some of the sources. So it is very important that several tactics are there that are helpful in dealing with resistance to this TQM implementation. So they should be used by the leaders as well as the managers. Now we are concerned with the banking industry. So let us see what is the relevance of total quality management in the banking sector. Definitely liberalization, globalization, as well as industrial growth and technological innovations, they have forced the organizations to evolve alternative business models that require flexibility and dynamism. In this case, irrespective of the activity, the customer is the center of the operations. Thus, in order to attain utmost customer satisfaction, the business organizations, they are trying to adopt the new approaches that are available for product designs and operation as well as marketing strategy. Since banking is a service sector and mainly it is dealing with the customers, so adapting to new strategies and implementation process, now sustainable development has also become a major concern for the banks. That is, this scenario has led to enormous impact on the effectiveness and excellence. So the banking industry needs vivid categories of people in the society. They are interacting with different categories of people of the society. So the service quality plays a dominant role in the success story. Therefore, the commercial banks have employed creative business platforms like total quality management at a huge value creation for their sustainability in the severe competition. and it has also reached the doors of banking industry, and the banks are giving utmost priority to this aspect as a strategy for organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Thus, total quality management for each of the category of the customers is being used hugely in the banking industry. So that was all about TQ implementation. Now we have another quality initiative that is known as the business process restructuring. It is an approach for redesigning the way work is done to better support the organization's business goals and improve the efficiency on all parameters. So the business process refers to how the work is done. The how. This question is there. So how the work will be done? Here in the concept restructuring or re-engineering. It is a fundamental thinking and a radical redesign of the business processes to achieve dramatic improvements. That is, again, it is a huge change. Radical means it will create dramatic improvements in the organization. In critical, there are the contemporary measures of performance such as cost, quality, service, and speed. So it focuses on the processes and not the task, job, or people. As opposed to TQM, that was more focused on the task or the people or the workers of the organization, the BPR is focused more on the processes as how the work is done. Herein, it first starts with the high level assessment that has to be conducted of the organizations. What are the organization's missions, goals, and the customer demands? Basically, the question that has to be answered is, does our mission needs to be redefined? Are any strategic goals they are aligned with the mission? Then who are the customers? These are some of the questions that the organization needs to answer. Only after the organization rethinks what it should be doing, it then decides how to do it. So first they need to answer what is to be done, and then they decide how they will implement it. So reengineering identifies, analyzes, and redesigns an organization's core business processes, and the aim is to achieve dramatic improvements in the critical performance measures. These are the cost, quality, service, as well as the speed of the processes. Thus, it is a structured ordering of work steps across time and place. Now, let us see some of the pillars or the broad guidelines of BPR implementation. Before that, first it is important to know that this process of VPR is associated historically with the manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector means the industrial sector with specific processes and a product mix. So a number of service industries have also successfully implemented BPR, and they have applied universally the broad guidelines that are under it. So it is mostly used where this process is used by the manufacturing sector and now even the service sector. What are the guidelines? First, envision new processes. Under this, they need to secure management support, identify the re-engineering opportunities, also identify the enabling technologies, and align with the corporate strategy. Whether the question what matches the corporate strategy. This is under the envision of new processes. Second, initiating the change. Now, when a change that is required has been identified, for it we need to set up a re-engineering team and define the desired performance goal. Then the change will be initiated. Third would be process diagnosis, in which we should describe the existing processes and uncover the deficiencies in the existing processes. Is there a need? Is there a need to bring the change in the organization process? Next step is process redesign. Now we need to develop the alternative process scenarios. New process designs are created. HR architecture is also changed. IT platform is selected that is most appropriate. And overall blueprint for the action and gather feedback. This is to be done. Restructuring involves developing or installing the IT solution and establishing process changes. And finally, we need to process the monitoring. Under this, performance management should be there, including how much time is being taken, what is the quality cost that is incurred, and the IT performance, and then we should link it to the continuous improvement. So these are some of the guidelines, or these are some of the steps that are involved in the BPR implementation. So it is a radical redesign and transformation of the strategic organizational systems to enhance the efficiency and productivity of the systems. And also it is always questioning the status quo. What does this mean? It involves the change and the change management to effectively transform the working of the organization. It involves improved processes and the employees who will facilitate the transition. Thus, status quo is questioned, the existing status quo, whether the management is able to implement the changes or not, and accordingly changes are made. Thus, there's a huge relation between the BPR as well as the HR management as well. Next initiative is the International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO, and ISO 9000 series. In this we'll be discussing the 9000 series facts, then we will also be discussing about the 9001 to 2015, its benefits, certifications and so on. So first let us understand what is ISO. This ISO 9000 family addresses the various aspects of quality management and contains some of the best known standards. So it is known as the standardization process or creating the benchmark. Through various studies and researches, they have given standardization for the companies and organizations if they want to ensure that their products and services consistently meet the customers' requirements. That is, the quality is consistently improved. So they are giving standardization or set regulations and guidelines that the companies can use. Now, all the companies and organizations, they have their own way of doing things, but a proper standardization, this will create improvement in their focus as well as their implementation. Now let us see some ISO 9000 facts. First, it was originally published in 1987 by the International Organization for Standardization, and then it underwent major revision in the year 2000. So now it includes the ISO 9000 2000 definitions, the 2001 2008 requirements, as well as continuous improvement. So standardizations have been given regarding the definitions, the requirements of the organization and continuous improvement. This point is very important from examination point of view. You should remember what is contained in the ISO 9000. Now, when the revision was done of the ISO 9000 2000 series, then they were given standards based on 8 quality management principles that the senior management can apply for improvement in the organization. They can employ the customer focus, leadership standards are given, the involvement of people, how can the process approach be involved, the system approach to management, continual improvement, factual approach to decision making and mutually beneficial supplier relationships. So standards were given for all of these factors. Basically, the main premise for all the ISO processes is document what you do and do what you document. This means they require to create a document, a record of each and every activity, and the organization completes a quality manual that is outlining the implementation of quality management process and how the ISO 9001 2008 requirements are met. So to comply with these requirements of the 9001 2008, the organization needs to review its processes and in accordance with the standards requirement in order to meet the needs and expectations of the customer base. Thus, recording is important, documenting is important so that they can compare it with the further regulations that are given by the ISO. So, it does not describe any standards of its own. It is for the organization to define how and what must be done with the process or a project. Next, we have the ISO 9001 2015 standardization, or this is the next series that was given by ISO. It sets out the criteria for quality management system and it is the only standard in the family that can be certified to. That is, it provides certifications. This is important. If the question comes, which standard in the ISO family provides certification, then the answer is 9001 to 2015, this series. It can be used in any organization regardless of its field of activity or its size, and there are over 1 million companies and organizations in over 170 countries are certified. So the standard is based on a number of quality management principles, including a strong customer base, motivation, implication of the top management, the continual improvement, and it also varies the aspects of quality management's best known standards. So the standards in this 9000 family includes: first, ISO 9001 2015 sets out the requirement for quality management system. The 9000 2015 covers the basic concepts and language. 9004 2009, how to make a quality management system more efficient and effective. And finally, the ISO 19011 and 2011 provides guidance on internal and external audits of the quality management system. This is also very important. You need to remember these. You need to keep a point as to which ISO family or standard contains the guidance for the particular factors. Now, certifications are provided to the banks in the functional areas under the ISO standards of training and development. Also, customer service certifications are providing the marketing of products and services, change initiatives, customer satisfaction, etc. So these are some of the certifications that are provided. Now there are certain benefits as well as disadvantages of ISO. First, let us see the potential benefits of implementing these standards. First, it covers the 9001-2008 ISO, covers extensive range of requirements and seeks to improve the quality of all of the organization's management activities. It can bring a radical change and it covers all-round development. It is the most nationally and internationally known quality standard that affirms independent approval of a management system. So there's independent approval so as to deliver higher levels of customer satisfaction. It is the most popular nationally as well as internationally. It has the potential to improve internal as well as external accountability. That is, it contains standards of how auditing should be done within and from outside, and the ISO 9001 certification can help the organization qualify for a tender or to achieve preferred supplier. So if they get this certification in various areas, then they are a preferred organization for various suppliers as well. Along with these benefits, there can be certain limitations as well. Foremost, that implementation of these standards in terms of the startups, they can involve higher costs as well as they can be time consuming to implement. There is less flexibility than other tools. There are standards that are rigid and meeting them can be very much troublesome for the organization. Its origins are in the industrial sector. So it is not very friendly for the service sector or other sectors. It may be less suitable for the socially enterprising organizations, and the vast majority of ISO standards are highly specific to a particular product, material or process. Again, it is for one particular industry. But now the ISO 9001 in terms of quality and the ISO 14001 in terms of environment are more generic. They are more generic in their management system. So they can be applied to any organization, large or small, as well as a public administration or government department. So this limitation has been covered. Next, the resources that are needed for the implementation of the ISO standards. First, a strong leadership. The senior individuals in the organization will need to be fully committed. They should have a positive viewpoint of the ISO implementation and thus they would be contributing. Second, there are some proficiencies or skills required. Training in understanding the standards may be required by the internal staff as well as the management. Actions that are taken to make the implementation are left to the organization itself. That is, how it is to be implemented is to be decided by the organization on the basis of its own staff. So it needs to address the issues that are needed to comply with the standards. So there are various requirements. The management committee to quality, there should have a commitment, customer focus, adequate of the organization's resources, employee competence, etc. So these are some of the proficiencies or skills that are required. And then most important is staff time. So whether depending on the size of the organization and the change that has to be implemented, here, the estimates from organizations and consulting bodies indicate that it can take from between 6 to 18 months to implement. So definitely it is time consuming. Thus, staff time is also required. So these are the resources required for a successful implementation. When acquired, then we can see the procedure for this. So when once a decision has been taken to get a function, process or a branch, as in the case of banks, certified under the appropriate ISO series, that is if the banks they want to get a certification for their customer base, marketing or technology, then after this decision the management appoints an internal champion as the management representative. They can be the from the HR head or from the leadership. Then they will closely liaise with the external consultant and all the concerned officials in various sections. Then each of the procedure that is covered under the scope for ISO certification is carefully documented. Do what you document and document what you do, that is creating a record with the paras as well as the sub paras with clear numbering, so that reference to any procedure can be provided. And then once it is completed, it gets signed off by the department head as well as the MR, that is the management representative. After then, all the activities of the section are carried out strictly in accordance with the laid down procedure. For example, if it is mentioned that the customer's relation executive in the bank would pick up a phone call within 2 rings, then compliance can be monitored easily. And if there is any deviation, then it is to be rectified as per a laid down procedure by the specified authority. Then after that, certifying authority who is on being satisfied, they will grant the ISO certification to the organization or the branch as the case may be. After that, periodic reviews are done, and they generally happen every year or 6 months. In the case the deviations are not rectified within reasonable time, then the certification may even get revoked. So thus getting a certificate is not enough. You need to continue to maintain the standards to enjoy the certification. So this is how the ISO standards and these series help in better quality improvement in the organizations. Next topic is quality circle. It is used as an HR strategy to quality improvement. This type of approach was first originally described by W. Edwards Deming and in the year 1950. So it is an early tool that was used in this time. Basically, it was found to educate and promote the quality control of the frontline workers in a workplace, basically to realize the total quality control. Now, what is the quality circle? Herein, participative methods in the workplace are one way to improve both the work environment for the employees as well as the productivity and quality for the company. So, quality circle is one such employee participation method. It is a method in which employee will participate, that will lead to a better work environment for the employees as well as increased efficiency for the productivity and quality for the company. So how does it work? It involves the channelization of the skills, capabilities, confidence and creativity of the workforce. Again, these type of abilities are there in the human resources, that is the employees, and this is done through cumulative processes of education, training, work experience and participation. So educating the frontline workers. It also implies the creation of facilitative conditions and environment to work that will sustain their motivation and commitment. This process, the quality circle, is fully focused on the participation of the staff or the employees of the organization. And now the quality circles have emerged as a mechanism to develop and utilize the tremendous potential of the people for improvement in the product quality and productivity. So as against TQM that focused on the task, then there was the BPR that focused on the particularly the process. Here the quality circle focuses on the people. So it is the people strategy. Let us see how the quality circle works. It is a small group of 6 to 12 employees that are doing the similar work and who voluntarily meet together on a regular basis. So a group is formed of 6 to 12 employees. They are on the similar work, that is they could be in the marketing department or the finance department, and then they voluntarily meet, they are willingly meeting on a regular basis. So it is a way of capturing the creative and innovative power that lies within the workforce. How they will discuss using the proven techniques and analysis for solving the work related problems, and then achieving and sustaining excellence within the organization. So it is a way of capturing their own ideas through creative discussions. Now, the objectives of the quality circles, these are multifaceted. First, change in attitude from I don't care to I do care. This means that there is continuous improvement in the quality of work life through humanization of work. They should be more inclined, they should be understanding the humane factors. Second, self development, bring out the hidden potential of people. This could be through training and development that the people get to learn additional skills. Third, development of team spirit. Here, individual versus team. I could not do it, but we did it. That is, eliminate the interdepartmental conflicts. Any kind of interdepartmental conflicts should be eliminated and they should be motivated to work together. Team spirit, and then finally improved organizational culture. There should be positive working environment, total involvement of the people at all the levels, higher motivational level and participative management processes. So these are objectives of why the quality circles are created. Now, for the quality circle to be effective and efficient, it is important to have an organizational structure. The structure first consists of the steering committee. This is at the top of the structure and it is headed by a senior executive of the organization. It includes the representatives from the top management personnel as well as the human resource development people. So they have the responsibility to establish policy, plans and give direction to the program, and it meets usually once in a month to discuss the progress. Second is the coordinator. The coordinator may be the HR or the administrative officer. The HR or the administrative officer who has the responsibility to coordinate and supervise the work of the facilitators and administer the programs. Now, what is the facilitator? Facilitator, they may be the senior supervisory officer. They are the supervisory officer and they coordinate the works of the quality circles through the circle leaders. Every circle that consists of 6 to 12 employees, they have a circle leader. They are coordinated by the facilitator. Then circle leader organizes and conducts the circle activities. The leaders may be from the lowest level of the workers or the supervisors. And finally, we have the circle members. They are the staff workers. Without the circle members, the program cannot exist. So they are the livelihood, the lifeblood of the quality circles. They should attend all the meetings as far as possible. They should suggest their own ideas and participate actively in the group processes. They should take training seriously, and here the role of the steering committee, coordinator, facilitator, circle leader, it is actually well defined. They have their own roles. Thus, the major prerequisite for initiating the quality circle is that they should have a total understanding as well as complete conviction and faith in the participative philosophy on the part of the top and senior management as well as the staff members. Next, we have QC implementation. For implementing this process, first step is to explain to the employees and invite them to volunteer as the members of the quality circles. Also nominate the senior officers as the facilitators to form a steering committee. Then arrangement of the training of the coordinators in the basics of quality circle approach, its implementation, technique and operation. This is the second step. So implementation is important. After that, the facilitator may provide training to the circle leaders and the circle members. So this training is imparted from one level to the next. So this process, they can be involved of a sequential steps. First step is problem identification. Identify a number of problems, decide the priorities and select the problems that have to be taken first. Then second step would be problem when it is clarified and analyzed by the basic problem solving methods. Third would be generate the alternative solutions. We should identify and evaluate the causes of the problem and then generate a number of possible alternative solutions and then select the most appropriate one. We should discuss and evaluate the alternative solutions that are provided in terms of the investment that is involved as well as the return. Then prepare plan of action. Now solution that is decided, it has to be converted into the action plan and then the solution has to be implemented. Finally, the management evaluates the recommended solution, then it is tested and if it is successful then implemented on a full scale. So first it is done on a pilot basis and then if it is successful it is implemented on the full scale. So quality circles, they are very helpful. They can also help develop the internal leadership, reinforce the workers' morale, increase their motivation and encourage a strong sense of teamwork. So there are various benefits. What are the benefits of using the quality circle in banks? In the case of banks, Quality Circle works as a voluntary group wherein the employees that are working in the same area, they come together and they start to work as a team. Through discussions and training, they solve the work related problems together and it results in self-development and organizational benefit. Many banks have implemented this concept and it has been built on the basic foundation of participative work culture with motivation and involvement of employees at the grassroots levels that helps them explore their potentials, creativity and capabilities. So when it will be implemented in banks, definitely it will have various benefits. But still, only some banks including SBI have been forming the QCs and have experienced the benefits of this concept. It still remains a concept to gain popularity. It has not still gained much popularity among the banks. Banks who are still implementing it, they consider implementing this concept as a mission mode, specifically when the new generation employees are making inroads. That is, when the new generation employees are being recruited into the industry, so that the concept will become more popular and purposeful. They are using it only when necessary. So QC in banks is a profitable step, but it is still a long way to go for implementation in the banking industry. And the last approach that we are going to discuss today for improvement is the Six Sigma model. It is a model for improving the business processes. The number of companies that have deployed the Six Sigma, it runs into thousands and it has been deployed in all the types of industries like manufacturing, IT sector has also implemented it, the services, healthcare, design, etc. And some companies have also realized huge benefits are like the well-known companies are Motorola, Microsoft, Wipro, HP, etc. They have shown that Six Sigma model has been proved successful in their business processes. So what is it? It is a fact-based, data-driven, structured methodology that is used to create breakthrough improvements with a strong focus on the customer needs. So now this type of model has its focus on the customer needs and it uses the fact-based data-driven methodology. So it has become one of the most powerful methodology today that is currently available to track and eliminate the pain areas within a company. Pain areas or the problems or issues that a company is facing. In today's business climate, as more and more companies they practice the Six Sigma, it has become imperative for all the companies to implement this if they want to stay in business. The UK Department for Trade and Industry has defined Six Sigma as a data-driven method for achieving the near perfect quality. So it has a strong emphasis on the statistical analysis and manufacturing and customer oriented activities, and it can be evaluated at three different levels: as a metric, as a methodology, and as a management system. So it also here it is working as a top-down solution to help the organizations align their business strategy to critical improvement efforts, mobilize their teams to attack the high-impact projects, accelerate the improved business results, and also govern efforts to ensure improvements are sustained. So there are various key processes that are here. The word here statistical term, it measures how far a given process deviates from perfection. We measure a sigma quality through the perfect number. We give a perfect number, and then we measure using the statistical terms that how far the process is deviating, how far it is different from the perfect number. So to achieve the Six Sigma quality, a process must produce no more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. Now, what is opportunity? Opportunity is a chance for non-conformance or not meeting the required specifications. This means one needs to be nearly flawless in executing the key processes. So opportunity is given the non-achieved. When the company or the organization is not achieving the perfect quality, then it is known as the opportunity. And herein the defect should not be more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities if they want to achieve the sigma quality. Now let us see the development or how the Six Sigma model has evolved. In the mid 1980s, engineers in the Motorola Incorp company in the USA, they used Six Sigma as an informal name for an in-house initiative for reducing the defects in the production processes, and it represented a suitably high level of quality. So it was used by Motorola company as an informal name for the in-house initiative. Basically, they wanted to reduce the defects in the production process. Also, certain engineers felt that measuring the defects in terms of thousands was an insufficiently rigorous standard. Per thousand that we mentioned, it is a very tough method. Hence, they increased the measurement scale to parts per million. They described this as the defects per million, and it promoted the use of Six Sigma terminology. Now, in the late 1980s, following the success of these initiatives, Motorola extended the Six Sigma methods to its critical business processes, and then it became formalized in the in-house branded name for performance of improvement methodology. And then in 1991, Motorola certified its first black belt Six Sigma experts. This indicates the beginnings of the formalization of the accredited training of Six Sigma method. So these black belts, how these black belts were developed? These black belts who own the processes of Six Sigma, they were responsible for understanding and identifying the processes in detail, also understanding the levels of quality and measuring the effectiveness of each of the performance. Then after that, in 1995, General Electric CEO Jack Welch decided to implement Six Sigma in the GE, and then by 1998, the General Electric claimed that Six Sigma had generated over $750 million of cost saving. So first utilized by Motorola, then adopted by General Electric, and they also said that they faced huge improvements. So after that, by the mid 1990s, it has developed into a transferable branded corporate management initiative and methodology. And then large manufacturing corporations also outside the manufacturing sector, they started using Six Sigma methodology. Training here in Six Sigma methodology, which requires the encouraging as well as the team leaders, they have to take responsibility for implementing this. There are the processes of delivery chains that are there. Thus it is essential to have training is an important element of Six Sigma methodology. For example, here in there are terms like black belts that we just discussed, and then there are also green belts, which denote the people with different levels of expertise and different responsibilities for implementing the Six Sigma methods. So any organization that wanted to implement these methods, they had to use the expertise of the experts that are the black belts and the green belts. These are the team leaders. The team leaders are black belts, and then the green belts are the next levels, and they could amount to 20 or 30 business processes. At the top level, they were the main processes that enable the organization to add value to their products and services and supply to the customers needs. Next, let us see what are the process elements of Six Sigma model. So the Six Sigma has its process elements, and for that a mnemonic is used, that is DMAIC or DMAICT. In this, D refers to define the opportunity, M is measure the performance, third analyze the opportunity, fourth improve the performance, fifth control performance. Now some organizations can stop here, but still if they want, then optionally they can use the sixth process, that is transfer best practice. So under the Six Sigma, they will first define the opportunity that needs change, and then we need to measure what is the current performance. After that, we need to analyze how improvements can be done. Then improve the performance involves the implementation of this strategy, and finally we need to evaluate and control the performance. Once this performance in a particular section has been successful, we can transfer the best practice to the other departments as well. So this is how it works. And finally, in the case of banks, Six Sigma in Indian banks is becoming more popular because the new age banks are becoming more quality and cost conscious. So it is increasingly getting popular for them to use the Six Sigma model. There are examples of various banks like the ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and also some of the back office operations of the MNC banks have initiated the Six Sigma process for specific activities in the bank. Now, while Citibank has Six Sigma running as a worldwide initiative, HSBC has also started the process for its Indian operations. Basically, we can conclude that Six Sigma is a very effective method, and it is being utilized today by many Indian banks as well. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. Keep learning with us. Thank you.